No, I am not joking. Julius Novachrono, the Wizard King, is Jesus Christ. Yuki Tabata is a madman. So guys, Black Clover chapter 214 released, and I'm gonna talk about it. But mainly I'm gonna talk about Julius being Jesus Christ. Because manga spoilers here real quick. Do not watch if you don't want to know. Julius Novachrono is alive. Back to life. He never died, technically. Julius is literally Jesus Christ, who used a Nordic rune. Yes, a Nordic magic rune to save himself. Yes, Julius, the mark on his forehead, was a magic Nordic Viking rune. And he followed Jesus Christ's story arc. Okay, so I'm going to go over, quickly summarize the chapter because I really don't care about most of it. And then I'm going to get into talking about Julius and how people are calling this an ass pull. This has heavily been foreshadowed and we all just missed it. I just did a bunch of research. Holy crap, Tabata is an amazing foreshadower. Honestly though, I will say, as of right now, I still wish Julius would have remained dead. But the fact that Tabata did all this foreshadowing, he's a mad lad. He's a madman. But anyways, quickly I'll summarize the chapter. Go check it out on Viz. I'll leave a link to go read it on Viz when it should be out on Sunday. But anyways, basically, Rades uses this new magic, puts Patri's soul into Lick's artificial body. So now Patri and William are alive with separate bodies. I predicted this weeks and months ago that this would happen, so I'm glad it happened. Now, Patri and William can both atone for their sins. Then, guys, Rades and Voltos leave. Sekira stays behind as the first Wizard King finally dies and his statue crumbles. Then when Yami and William go see Julius, Julius is alive, but he's a young kid. Basically, that star on his forehead, it's a magic rune, and it stored time, and it kept him alive. But the con was, it reverts him back to a child. That's the summary. Let's talk about why Julius Novachrono is Jesus Christ. So, Julius literally follows Jesus Christ's story arc. Probably not exactly, but he follows it very well. Julius builds a following of people because he's extremely well liked and gifted, wants a better world for his people, and actively works to do so. But ultimately, his people is going to be judged and punished for their sins, and he sacrifices himself so they don't have to suffer that. And then, Jesus Christ is buried in a cave, just like Julius, and then he's resurrected 3 days later. Now, we don't know how long exactly the Elf War arc is. We do know that it's at least a couple days. So likely, this has been 3 days. So Julius has literally followed the story arc of Jesus Christ. And there is so much foreshadowing here. It's absolutely insane. And of course, this also pretty much confirms rune magic. So I'm going to go over and basically compare everything, all the foreshadowing. And honestly, the reason why I never made a Julius come back to life theory is because I wanted him to stay dead. And I realized, of course, he's overpowered and has time magic. Sure, maybe he'll come back. Then Rades gets a new spell that can bring people back from the dead. Sure, maybe Julius will come back, or he'll come back as one of Rades' puppets. But I don't want it to, and it's not that likely. So, my confirmation bias basically stopped me from ever looking into this, looking into Julius, and if he could ever come back. And I wish I did, because then I maybe could have predicted this happening and actually give logical information as to why. And me talking about Norse mythology all the time, I feel like an absolute idiot for missing the rune on his head, because the runes I own in my room, as, runes that are drawn on rocks, well, that's the older Futhark. Younger Futhark is where this rune that's on Julius's forehead is featured. I need to give a huge shout out to Litness on Twitter. Leave his @ in the description. Go follow him right now. He's a genius. Not only did he discover this rune and put the two and two together, but he actually did a lot of research, which I'll be talking about in this video. And yeah, go follow him on Twitter. Litness, you're a genius. But anyways, Julius Novachrono is a Christ-like figure throughout the series. He has a cross on his chest. Everybody likes him. He is naturally gifted, well-liked, is leading a group of people, the captains, and what happens is, in the Christian mythology, Jesus is betrayed by Judah, one of his apostles. In Black Clover, Julius is betrayed by William, who shares a body with Patri, who is an apostle of Sephiroth, who, according to scholars, Judah betrayed Jesus because he's being manipulated by the devil. The devil was manipulating Patri, who was manipulating William to betray the Wizard King. Therefore, the devil was behind this, just like in Christian mythology. Also, really crazy thing here is the gospel suggests that Jesus foresaw this in John 6:64 and Matthew 26:25 and allowed Judas's betrayal. Julius even states that basically, I didn't want to believe it was you, but I kind of knew. Just like Jesus in the Gospels. Holy crap, guys. I'm sorry, this is just insane how much work Tabata put into this character. And even crazier, Jesus is buried in a cave. Same with Julius. And in the Bible, Jesus is buried in a man-made cave. Soul uses their earth magic to create a cave where Jesus is buried. He's there for several days, just like Jesus, and then he's resurrected, just like Jesus. What also needs to be pointed out here, the Clover Kingdom did a lot of sins. The people in its history. Patri's attack that was going to kill them were the light arrows of judgment. The judgment was going to punish for their sins. Julius sacrificed his life, died for his people for their sins, just like Jesus Christ. And also, I do want to say that Julius just naturally does have that personality of forgiveness like Jesus. Julius almost forgave William on the spot once he found out that Patri was in his body. That's like something that only Jesus would do. Imagine your son figure just led somebody who wants to kill you into your house, and you're already forgiving your son for doing that. That's basically what William is doing. So, all of that, guys, Julius is literally Jesus. Julius has followed Jesus' story arc or character arc throughout this series. Now, I'm going to get to the thing that really interested me, and that is what Liltness brought up, is that the mark on Julius' forehead is the rune Hagel from the Younger Futhark. The Younger Futhark is just a set of an alphabet of runes. Runes was an alphabet, and also people would use that for magic charms. Remember I made a theory a few months ago about the first Wizard King studying ancient Nordic runes? A decent one of you thought I was an idiot. Well, now this makes that more likely with the fact that Julius literally had the rune on his head. The Hagel rune is the rune of protection. It is a healing charm or a life protection charm. So Julius had a life protection charm on his forehead that basically saved him. He didn't die. So Julius used rune magic to bring himself back to life or stop him from dying. He used a literal rune. This is just crazy stuff, guys. I'm a dumbass for not noticing this earlier. But anyways, this confirms likely there are rune magic in Black Clover. This makes it possible and very likely for Vikings to be a thing in the Black Clover universe, which I really hope that, in the Spade Kingdom they'll come to fruition. But anyways, let's go more into this Hagel rune and why this was brilliantly foreshadowed. So, the Hagel rune has been adopted by ambulances as the Blue Star of Life. You notice this on ambulances. That is the Blue Star of Life. That is the Hagel rune. What did ambulances do? They stopped death. What did this rune do for Julius? It stopped death. What did the old, in real life, what did this rune mean for people? If you put it on something, or put it on you, you hoped it would stop you from dying. Literally happened to Julius, and I think that's really, really cool. Sorry if I sound really excited. I am really tired, and honestly, I think it's just really cool how much foreshadowing Tabata put in this, and all that stuff. And honestly, even though I do wish Julius probably stayed dead, still think it's really cool anyways, and still has a bright future for Black Clover. So, the Hagel rune, this is info provided from Litness. It represents the transition from man to man god. What was basically Jesus when he died, got resurrected, basically went from a man to a god man. Man god, god man, whatever. So, that just further symbolizes that Julius is he is the character arc for Jesus. And a lot of more information of these Hagel runes. This is information. Hagao can be seen as the binding of the life and death runes, and a binding of male and female. To Miguel Serrano, the Hagao rune is the Graal rune, the holy blood, the morning, and the star of life, and the rune of totality. The star of life. Julius's name, also his last name, means the star of time, and the star of time used the star of life to bring himself back to life. And what's really cool here, Julius has the star of life on his forehead. The star of life in modern day is blue. Julius uses blue time magic. So honestly guys, this is just really cool. And this could have been predicted by many people. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody out there did predict this. I do think some people did kind of equate Julius to Jesus before in my comments. And people did predict that that charm would bring him back to life. Although they didn't say it was a rune. They just said it would bring him back to life. So yes, somebody is definitely right that rune or that thing to bring him back to life. Didn't see anybody bring that up that was an actual rune though. But here is what we do know. Julius followed many of the character moments and arcs of Jesus Christ, and this was all foreshadowed before. This happened before he was brought back to life, not after he was brought back to life. The only thing, of course, was the actual resurrection part. Julius being well liked, having a cross, gifted, betrayed by one of his followers, and Judah or William, who was also being manipulated by the devil, buried in a cave for a few days, and then came back to life. Oh, also very important, of course, sacrificed himself to save his people from judgment and punishment from basically divine beings. And then, of course, uses a rune of protection, rune of life protection, and saves his life. This all could have been predicted months ago, but I didn't see anybody else do it. But anyways, this just shows that this was not an ass pull at all. Also, just pair this information up that Julius had an elven level of mana with time magic. So this is not an ass pull at all. This was all foreshadowed that Julius was going to come back. Julius, following the character arc of Jesus Christ, and then having the life-protecting rune on his forehead, that was a lot of foreshadowing for him to come back. So this was not an ass pull. Of course, you can dislike it that Julius is back. But remember now, he is a kid with one page of his grimoire. He's going to be heavily nerfed. There's no way he's going to be the Wizard King anymore, because the Wizard King is the position of basically the general of the army. So there's no way he's going to be that anymore. There's just no way. Not only likely is his mana way lower, but his physical strength, and also he only has one page left in his grimoire. But guys, I just thought this was absolutely crazy, absolutely insane. Lots of foreshadowing that we missed, and lots of cool stuff. Tabata did a great job of foreshadowing this. A lot of people thought that Julius's death was going to be permanent or a basic revival. Basically that, oh, he has time magic, he's going to be back. Oh, Rades has zombie magic, he's going to be back. Not, he's following the character arc of Jesus, and he has a rune of protection on his forehead. But anyways, guys, what do you think down below? What do you think of Julius coming back? What do you think of all this foreshadowing? And also, what do you think about rune magic basically being confirmed to be a thing in Black Clover? Let me know your thoughts down below. Please do leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you guys all have an amazing day. Plus...